The following segment is sponsored by Food City.
Welcome into the Stateline Sports Reporters podcast. I'm Stateline Sports Reporter and Executive Sports Producer Heather Williams, and we're kind of continuing our series of talking to some of the Power 4 signees or commits in the area. And today's podcast, we're going to catch up with Abingdon's Aidan Woods. Aidan was a great interview, so fun to catch up with him. And a guy who has maybe the most interesting story about who he's going to play for in anyone in this series. In case you don't know, Aidan has committed to play football at North Carolina, which means he will be playing for the one and only Bill Belichick. That's quite an intimidating figure to have as your head coach. And he tells a great story about when he met Coach Belichick for the first time. Also fun to catch up with him to talk about, his path, how he got to the Power 4 level as far as getting recruited, what recruitment was like, kind of his goals going forward, and why he chose North Carolina. It might surprise you a little bit considering where the school's located in Chapel Hill and where he's from in Abingdon. But really enjoyed catching up with Aidan. I've enjoyed talking to all the great talent in the area, and we'll continue to try to catch up with more of them as they make their commitments and we can track them down. But for now, enjoy this episode of our Stateline Sit Down. How'd you decide on North Carolina?
Well, we took the official visit to North Carolina June 20th through the 22nd after baseball ended, and we took the official to West Virginia earlier in the month. And we had a great time at both places. But the outstanding factor at North Carolina was just life after college. They're in the triangle down there, and there's so much development going on right there that even if I don't go big time and make it to the league, I feel like it's going to set me up so well for life after my playing days.
So, but I'm sure life in your playing days made it. So, I mean, obviously you feel like West Virginia and North Carolina were neck and neck, but what was it about it football wise that you liked about North Carolina?
Well, the coaching staff is awesome. It's you get the greatest NFL head coach of all time to come down to the college level, and he's going to say, "Hey, I want you to come play football for me." It's kind of hard to be like, "No, I don't think I'm gonna." You kind of just listen to him.
So what was that meeting like? I mean, I'm not even a football player, and I think I would be incredibly nervous to talk to him. So what was that like for you?
Yeah, especially the first time. I've met him 3 or 4 times now, and every time it gets a lot easier. You can tell that the first time he was he was still getting settled into North Carolina, and as you would assume, he had only been there for I think about a month whenever I met him the first time. But we shook hands and kind of just stared at each other for about 3 or 4 seconds, and just kind of waited on someone to break the ice. And I believe I did. I think I said something along the lines of, "It's nice to meet you." And then we met, and it was awkward, but it wasn't bad. At the end of the day, they're just people.
So was North Carolina recruiting you before he became the head coach, or is that something that had been ongoing for a while?
Yeah, so last year, I'm trying to think about the time frame. It would have been, I want to say, around March or May of last year. Freddie Kitchens actually came into the school, and I got to meet with Coach Kitchens, and so that was like the beginning of the recruitment early. And then this past year, I went to a couple camps out there and went down, and my mom and my grandpa were actually both massive North Carolina fans. So mom was like, "Let's go." Absolutely. Like, we're taking
pressure.
This shit. Exactly. That along with it too. Yeah. I was like, absolutely. We're going to go to Carolina. We're going to spend like a weekend there. And, we had this whole plan. We went and ate at a couple of spots out on Franklin Street, which is like the town strip for North Carolina. It's kind of like Main Street for us. And like, we had a great time. And whenever we heard that Mac Brown was leaving, the old head coach, we were kind of all like, that's kind of weird. He had been there forever.
Right.
He's like one of the most, longest tenured coaches of all time. And we hear he's leaving, and we're like, this is kind of funny. The whole time I'm thinking, man, I hope Coach Kitchens stays. I hope he stays. I love him. He's a great dude, and he's been recruiting me all along. So I was like, I hope he stays. I like North Carolina. I want to go there. And we hear news, all the rumors, Bill Belichick's gonna be the new head coach, blah blah blah, all these rumors, and you're just kind of like, whatever. He's got ties to Bama, he's got ties everywhere. You're just thinking, whatever, sure, sure. Well, it officially comes out, and you're like, holy crap, he's like, Bill Belichick is the head coach. And the first move he made was to keep Coach Kitchens. That was the first public move, was to keep Coach Kitchens. So that I was like, okay, like I got a shot basically. My connection stayed, which not many people's did. But whenever he stayed, I was like, this is a good opportunity for me.
So what's the whole recruiting process like, or what was it like for you? I mean, being a Division I, especially a Power 4 recruit, that's crazy, I know. So what was it like for you?
Yeah, so it all started freshman year. I was playing baseball actually, and before a baseball game, I saw Coach Amberg just in passing, and he was like, "Hey, Virginia Tech stopped by," and he gave me their card because I was out of school for whatever reason. It might have been on a field trip, or I don't remember why, but I wasn't in school whenever he came by. So he left me his card, and that year I got to meet Wake Forest and JMU, all three, Tech, Wake, and JMU. So that summer we went out to a couple camps, and I did okay. I didn't particularly shine out, but I was big. So they were like, yeah, we'll keep in contact. So then that sophomore year, I got a lot more interest, got to talk to a lot more coaches. And that sophomore, it was going into junior year. That summer, I went out to Michigan for a camp. Dad's a massive Michigan fan. So we go out to Michigan for a camp, not thinking, I had no contact with any of the coaches out of Michigan, but we were thinking, hey, it's a good time. Why not? So we go out to Michigan. We stop at Indiana on the way because that was whenever the coaches from JMU moved to Indiana. So we're like, let's go to Indiana. Let's go up to Michigan. Let's make this trip out into the Midwest. And at Michigan, I got my first offer from Central Michigan. And that was just a crazy experience. Central Michigan was just there. And I don't know what I did, but I did something to show them that they felt like I was good enough to offer. So they offered me. And then it kind of slowed down for me a while there. I went to a couple more camps that summer, did okay. And then Cornell actually was the next school that offered. The Ivies were the next school that offered me. And then I was playing basketball this past year, and I got a call from a number from Covington, Virginia, which is about from where my dad's from. And it turns out it was Coach Dressler up at West Virginia. And they actually offered me that day. I had no real contact with them before, but they offered. And that week I picked up 5 offers in that 1 week. So that just blew it out the water. At that point, it picked up a lot. So I got all that. And then that summer, this past both basically the winter and the summer, in the spring, I went to only West Virginia, North Carolina. I kind of narrowed it down pretty quickly. Or I went to Wake Forest. I'm sorry. Also, I went to Wake for a little camp, I know it was their spring game. So I got out there, and it just showed to me that I wanted to be at either Wake, or I wanted to be at either UNC or West Virginia. Those were the two spots that appealed the most to me all along. And Coach McNell up at West Virginia, he does a great job. He's an awesome dude. Great guy. But I just felt like the life, at North Carolina, we went down there for the official. We got to go to Topgolf. We got to go bowling. We got, a scavenger hunt around campus on golf carts. We had a great time. They put on a show. So it's obviously really cool.
How's Dad dealing with having to be a North Carolina fan now?
He's loving it. He has picked it up in stride. I think Michigan's always going to be his team deep down, but North Carolina is his team right now until I graduate, and then we'll see what happens.
Then he goes back to the maize and blue.
Exactly.
Sponsored by Food City.